Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Acquire podcast, where we get to talk about list building and sales, lead generation, marketing, strategy, a little bit of ops dashed in there for giggles, and also a little bit of origin strategy and origin story, which you're going to hear about today. I have an incredibly special guest that I'm excited and have been dying to get on this podcast for months. I've been hounding this person to show up, and I finally wrangled them. So here we go. We're going to have a great conversation with Dan Jorge, who is incredible, marketing operations, system strategist, and serial entrepreneur extraordinaire. So, Dan, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for finally saying yes and like doing all the things. It's been fun to want to get you on this. It was a conversation I've been dying to have for a long time. And I'm just glad that we got it in the calendar finally.
You always leave them wanting more, right? Gotta bait you a little bit.
A little bit of I can take it. It's all good. So much fun. All right, so let's let's start a little bit in the background because every time I meet somebody who does what you do, I know there's a really cool story behind how you got here, and it's usually not an A to B to C. It's kind of a wavy pattern that goes all over the place. So, can you share a little bit about how you started doing this, and then how are you now doing marketing ops and system strategy, and how are you constantly being a serial entrepreneur?
Yeah, for sure. I love a good puzzle. I think that's kind of like the heart of the center of everything that I do. It's organizing different types of mess or chaos, essentially, is like the one-liner of what it is that I do. Um, it started with more visual arts and graphic design is where I went to school for that. I was on staff of the newspaper in high school. So laying things out was always a joy, a pastime. And my father was also a recording artist, and I would do some of his like graphic design for this album release or a banner or something like that. So I've always had like Adobe at my fingertips. I'm a millennial, so I'm very much a computer kid. Um, and yeah, it started in design. I love to get very good at things that I enjoy doing. So I learned how to really use Photoshop to the fullest of what it could do. I started on Photoshop 7. A lot of
Oh,
people don't believe me, but like how early I had it. It's like,
yeah.
no, I think it was released in 99, that version. I don't remember.
Wow.
Um,
So you were like two.
yeah, I wasn't using it then, but I that's what I started with, and I've seen the software evolve. I think like a computer does because I'm a millennial and had that at my disposal growing up.
Yeah.
Um, and then the computer game, The Sims, was really like what put it all together. I would hack the software essentially to upload my own music, my MP3s to play to so I could hear that while I was building and designing instead of the game music or uploading my own patterns. And I've just always been into boutique custom, like one-off things, very special. And
Wow.
I love tech and digital things.
That is transposed incredibly well into what you do because you do boutique intrinsic designs everywhere.
Yeah, it's little moments of magic that I love. Like that's why we call me the wizard. It
Yes,
is magic.
you are the wizard. So let me, in layman's terms, let me explain a little bit about what I think you do. Tell me if I'm wrong, right?
Okay, cool.
So entrepreneur person has an idea to bring something to life, a product, a program, a service, even in like like an actual product, a physical product. You are the person that says, okay, I'm going to ask you 6,000 questions in order to figure out all the permutations. And then my brain comes up with the, the clean, chaos-free layout plan of how to get it from ideation or from the idea all the way to implementation and creation.
Yeah, that is very succinctly what I do best. Thank you.
No problem. You can take that, put it in your resume for later. And what I like, and this is so I have a puzzle brain too. I love puzzles. I'm the one that you give like your running shoe with the knot that you can't get out. And
Yeah.
I sit there with a smile on my face, getting the knot out, right? I have the puzzle brain and I love creating calm out of chaos. What you do that I find different and I can't do is your brain thinks in code. Like your brain thinks how a computer does. Your brain, like you do things that I can't get to, but I know that at the end, that's what I want. Like I'm like, yes, please, can that be the outcome? Which is so, so cool. How are you, how are like, how are you looking at things differently and creating, I don't know, efficiencies or let's just say an entrepreneur wants to bring a course from idea to getting it out in the world. What are the main things that you're looking at that nobody else is really looking at? And the entrepreneur is going, holy crap, Dan just blew my mind. This is cool. We're going to make it even better than I originally thought.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of, I mean, a lot of it does come naturally to me. Like I'm very intuitive and I'm thinking through the process, not just from the content side. I'm thinking about the end user experience, what maintaining the program or process is going to be long term as well. Um, I every quiz I take, I'm like 52% left brain, 48 right. So I walk down that middle very closely of creative first, but system and order ultimately.
Yep.
I really understand where a lot of the heart and art comes from, but I also apply a very practical, logical, and like prudent brain to it so I can make it a reality. And
Mhm.
when you think or approach things from the creative first, where a lot of, I think your audience is, that's where like the heart is, right? If you're a coach or you're bringing a new product or a launch, it's you're driven by there's a seedling there.
Yeah.
It's a passion.
Yeah.
It's not a system. It's like here's what I want to bring. Um, and just being diligent up front, asking as many questions as you can to fully understand the scope and breadth of what it is that you want to deliver.
Hmm.
Is it is it a course that you want to deliver, or you just want to deliver this information to them in a way that you think is digestible to them? Because it could be a different experience. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a course.
Yeah.
Um, and when you poke the bear up front and try to like unravel the mess of what is the heart of the thought, you can then give all of the time in the world that you need to the different parts that you want to prioritize.
Hmm.
If the visuals are super important to you, then you're going to spend a lot of upfront time understanding what the content is so you can communicate with the designer, allow them the opportunity to go down multiple art directions if there's more than one mood board or like
Yeah.
all that whole process. It's like setting the tone and intention up front with as much clarity as you can
Hmm.
makes the process easier throughout.
You came up with your own process that you run your clients through in order to get that idea like fleshed out, all of the stuff you just talked about, figure it out. It's a step-by-step process that you have. Can you kind of like go into a little bit more detail about that? Because I've been through it twice, three times, and it is insanely cool and it is incredibly useful because it really shines a light on all of the areas that as the idea person, the entrepreneur may not have thought of, but as the systems person and the marketing ops like wizard that you are, you see all these little permutations. What is that system?
It doesn't have a cutesy name, but it's my method. Sorry, what is your question? What are you asking? You want me to like walk through what it is or like how it came to be or
Well, you know, I know there's an origin story on how it came to be, and I'm sure I'd like to have the tea on how that happened. But but probably, yeah, a little bit of that and a little bit about what it is. Like, I mean, obviously not going into, I mean, you don't have to go into all the detail about it, but I think it's fascinating because most people would say, I've got this course, it's 6 modules, it's 3 hours of content. Can you go set it up for me in whatever platform? And then Dan goes, hold on a second.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Okay, so it's part of what I was saying before, like giving the opportunity for the brainstorming, the mood boarding, setting of art
Yep.
direction. Um, the process was birthed out of necessity, really. It's redundancy of going through meetings over and over to get the same information that if we had articulated this up front, we would have been able to avoid X number of hours spent on trying to find the resolution. Um, and it, depending on the nature of the launch or the product itself, we can go we try to go high level from the beginning, but the process of discovering everything that is involved with your product or launch, it can be very time consuming and labor intensive when we're getting into the granular details.
Yeah.
Um, it's also the fact finding and the conversational nature, I think, in the way that I'm like I feel that one of my strengths is being able to speak to the other stakeholders at a level that they will be able to understand what it is that I'm saying as well.
Yeah.
There's a level of real-time translation speaking between the tech and the layman and making sure that they understand the reason we need this information as well. Because if that part gets communicated, there's no question why I need X, Y, and Z by this date,
Yep.
because that is going to inform this next thing, which is then going to inform this next thing.
Yep.
So it can be very specific for the project at hand, but you got to think about the entire experience, not just you delivering the product, it's how they are receiving the product, how it's being consumed and experienced, and all of the tangent paths. If there's a sponsor, if there's speakers that you need to coordinate, like
Yeah.
there's three different then user experiences you need to think about, and all of those communications and touch points. And you do enough launches and get enough things out there that the common denominator starts to present itself. So that's what I've packaged up, and it's the process that we use.
Yeah. And it's incredible. It in the beginning, it feels you're like, oh, why do I got to do this? But then after you start doing it, you're like, oh, okay, now I get why. And this is going to create more clarity. And I honestly believe this is one of the reasons I want to have this chat is I honestly believe that it creates more clarity, but also more comprehension between like the two hands start talking to each other, the creative side
Hmm.
and the operations side and the system side, they start talking to each other. And the creative starts to understand why the operations and strategist, like the system side, needs what it needs, right? And I think that's really cool, but it also speeds up the process. One of the things that you do incredibly well that fascinates me is this whole brain thinks like code, brain thinks like computer side, because the products that I've seen that you've created, you've been able to create automations and systems that remove a lot of the binary, like really basic things that people do on a repetitive basis, and it automates them so you don't have to worry about it, right? So an example would be, I know an automation that you created for a podcast, and I know that you made it top to bottom. And at the end of the podcast, like it even goes so far as to like create a gift card for people, and it does that for you. So you don't have to, it's not notifying you like, hey, so and so, go create a gift card and send it to them. It actually does it and sends it. Like, how does your brain think like that? How would you even think to do that? I mean, you're taking stuff that people normally do on a day to day, and you're like, no, no, I got this. I'm going to automate the crap out of this. How do you
Yeah,
even
I
get there?
mean, that is the beauty of a well-oiled machine, right? Like you
Are
think
you the
about the
well-oiled machine, or is the product the well-oiled machine?
I'm a machine making machines.
Yeah, you are.
That like that specific example, the podcast gift card automation, we went through the process of identifying what is the entire journey from okay, we want this guest to be, we want this person to be a guest on our podcast, to how do we continually nurture the relationship afterwards? How do they get their invitation to our quarterly marketing event or networking event? Um, we thought about the entire process from start to finish before building it.
Hmm.
And when you ask all of those questions and figure out, oh, okay, here's an opportunity, me being the techie side of it, it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't have to be manual. It can be triggered by something that we said is already going to be happening.
Hmm.
So now that action that you were already going to be taking is now also setting off another set of events. Um, and that I love thinking that way. Like I don't know what it is, but
Well, it's definitely surprise and delight on the other side as somebody who receives seeing that side of things and wondering how the heck it got done without anybody, and I mean, that is the pleasure of working in a product like the product that you work in, the product I work in, which is GHL. I'm not, nobody's paying me for this to say it, but I love it and it's really, really cool and we can do all these automations in it. But the surprise and delight is the fact that as the client doesn't have to do all these things anymore, and their VA doesn't have to do it. So you're freeing up people's time. You're using a bit of, sometimes a bit of AI to help kind of figure out the path, and
mhm.
then the product seems to be able to handle it, and they keep adding updates, which handles even more of the stuff we want, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's wild how quickly the software is advancing, and it already is so capable.
Yep.
Like it's incredible what power we have. And now with the advancement of AI, things are only getting easier and more accessible.
Yep.
But what AI still is not doing is understanding the heart of what it is that you're trying to do, your why. It's thinking more about the what and the how. But when you can drive that conversation, and I use it as a tool the same way that we use any tool. Like Photoshop used to be a dark room. Like
Hmm.
that's what it was. And when you learn how to do like analog photography, you learn how to process the photos and do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
AI is just like another tool to help get you there. And I like to use it to help speed up some of the technical,
Hmm.
but also it's only as good as you are prompting it and driving it. So,
Yeah. Completely. I mean, same goes for, building in GHL. You're only good as the operator doing it. And trust me, I've worked with other operators trying to do it, and it's not nearly as good. So, if you haven't figured it out, Dan and I know each other, and we've had the chance to work together, which is super cool. Um, but even before Dan and I had the chance to work together at this level that we are now, Dan and I got to work on a project a couple of years ago. We did a summit. I did a summit for a mutual client that we had. And the summit was really, really cool. And we didn't have GHL at the time. GHL was out, but nobody had really, like, it wasn't so like totally embraced at that point. I
oh
believe we were
yeah.
using ClickFunnels.
Uh-huh. Now I'm remembering back. It's like, oh yeah, that was pre.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I remember at the end of the summit, we were like, hey, there's this new tool and we want to run the Evergreen Summit on that, but I remember running that summit on ClickFunnels back in the day. Uh, and a couple other different things. I think there was like two, oh yeah, ClickFunnels, ActiveCampaign,
Hmm.
Zapier.
Hmm.
There was a affiliate software.
Hmm.
So that was like four things. And there was a couple other things that we had to use, and all of those things are now rolled into GHL and we don't have to use them.
Yeah, singular software tool to do
All
all
those
of those
crazy.
things.
I know, isn't that crazy? Where do you think Where do you think this is all going with, do you think AI will eventually get the heart piece of it and sort of figure that out? Or do you think that's not going to happen and never?
I will not say never.
Mm.
I don't know that I really have an answer either because I, while yes, you want to stay current and up to date, aware of what's happening in the industry at all times, and stay relevant and an asset that people want to use, there's, I think, a baseline level of humanity in the work that I present, at
Hmm.
least.
Hmm.
With the graphic design background, it allows me to think and push the limit sometimes on how something will be received, viewed, even.
Hmm.
There's tricks that I can manipulate that are not necessarily what our standard application of how you would place this photo here, but because I've got that experience, as of right now, AI is not at a level that it's hitting that same quality. It is quickly learning how to do a lot of things, but again, it's only going to be as good as you are able to articulate what it is that you want from it. It's it's a tool. So if you're okay with uh and obviously this is a very different line of thought, but if you're okay with a template, a standard something that is going to be rinsed and repeated throughout the land, good luck standing out with it, but also that is at your discretion.
Yeah.
You are fully able to do that and run a successful business that way.
Yeah.
I just like to make things pretty.
Yes, you do. Pretty and functional.
Yeah, and I think part of the beauty, if you will, is also in the behind the scenes.
Okay.
The way that it works so seamlessly is because of the time, effort, and custom things in this system specifically.
Yeah. You are a serial entrepreneur. You work in several businesses. You have stakes in several businesses. What is the attraction to the business that you're going to be involved in? What pulls you in and goes, oh yeah, I want to be in this project?
That's a good question, one that I don't think I have asked myself.
Ah, I
Um,
got you. I finally got you.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the opportunity that I find myself with now is right place, right time, and being available. Like
Hmm.
I had the know-how to deliver what was needed, and I had the time or bandwidth to commit to it.
Hmm.
So I do think a lot of that is really like divine network, divine timing. It's who you know as well. I'm
Hmm.
available for the people who come and ask for things. Like you have to ask, but and it works both ways too. Like there are projects where I've done the outreach trying to land that account, and
Hmm.
you get it if you do the work and try to land the account.
Hmm. That's cool.
I it's like there's no real such thing as lucky, right? Lucky is being prepared when the opportunity presents itself, and because you're consistent and do the work and have put in the hours, you get the opportunity. And if
Hmm.
you succeed, then cool, and then you get to do it again.
No, true. And what is your, when you're looking at a possible project, what is the biggest red flag that you see that you're going, I could help this maybe, but this is major red flag like territory?
I have learned that the way that let me backtrack it. I'm a little bit of an empath in a business environment in that I am fully absorbing all of the energy of the dynamic of the environment. If it is a hostile or toxic workplace, it weighs on me in a way that is hard to really articulate, but it is a super motivator driver of a proponent of burnout, of not feeling fulfilled, of there it can go spiral down a bunch of different wrong holes because of those things.
Yeah.
Um, I've had some terrible bosses, and that's informed a lot of what I don't ever want to be around or working with again.
Yeah.
And it has also informed a lot of how I lead because I want to I would want to feel safe calling on me if I didn't know or had a question. Like, I don't ever want it to be a threatening or you feel inadequate or dumb. Like, there are no dumb questions, especially in tech. Like, yes, there are questions where it's like, okay, that is a very obvious answer, but you're asking because you don't know. So
Hmm.
like, there's no shame in admitting what you don't know, that
Mhm.
you can lead from a great place of power by just admitting, oh, I don't know that, but I'm happy to find out.
I love that line. That's one of my, that's, yep. I don't know the answer to that, but I will figure it out and find out for you. No problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is it that you're excited about as we're getting close to like the end of 2025? What projects have you been working on that just get you really, really amped?
There is one that I'm working on right now that is it hits close to home because it's me and my dad who are launching this business. So
Aw,
it's my mom. I work with both of them in another business, a counseling center, a practice there. But this product specifically was my dad's dissertation project for his doctorate program.
wow.
So he developed the idea. He went through all of that through school, and then after school, after graduation, then it became my baby to turn it into a reality, make it a real, tangible, purchasable product, this peripheral marketing around it, all the graphics, all of it. So I've been very busy with my head down working on that, and I'm excited because the end of this year is when it launches into the world. So I get to see it
Wow.
for real, for real,
And how many years have you been working on it?
including while he was in school developing it. That takes a
Yeah.
long time. I th including the schooling, I think it's like 5, 6 years. The tech build side of it, I think we're at 2 years or will be by the end of this year.
Wow. So there's going to be some relief, some happiness, a little bit of anxiety about the birth of the new product and making sure it gets out in the world the way you want it to the first time, which is also really important.
For sure.
Yeah, and I know you're pretty meticulous, so you're going through all the things and probably triple, quadruple checking everything.
Too many times.
More times than you can count. Exactly. What is it that what is it that you're looking forward to in order to, do you think more people are embracing having like a systems wizard like you on their team? Are you looking forward to seeing more projects come across your table that are just super exciting? What does that all look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, people should be embracing the opportunity to work with someone like me.
Well said.
It doesn't have to be me, but having someone who is thinking about your business the way that you need to think about it to really make sure that you're not just putting band-aids on scratches all the time, that you're actually fixing problems, identifying real solutions, and putting them in place. Um, One of the things that kills me is when I'm brought on to do a singular focus job or project
Hmm.
and I see
Yes.
where it could be so much better if they would just like but
Just,
that's also
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's also part of what I'm saying about absorbing the energy of the environments that I'm in.
Yeah.
If there is that much dysfunction or disorganization within an organization, I can't navigate that if that's not the scope of what you're bringing me on to do.
Hmm.
Like scope creep is real, and it's very hard when it bleeds into all different directions.
Completely, completely. I've had the same experience of looking at a business and going, sure, I'm going to do a summit for you, but everything else is a dumpster fire. How do you expect the summit to work?
Hmm.
Answer me that. And then maybe we can go forward. So, yeah, I totally get it. I think it's so cool. If somebody wants to get in touch and have the wizard work on their stuff, which everybody should want somebody like you, if not you in particular, to work on their incredible products and services, where can people connect with you and find you?
Yeah, okay. So I'm on all of the internet things at Dan Jorge, DanJorge. I don't really post or share a lot, but I am there on Instagram. I have Facebook. I don't use it. If you want to work with me, send an email to work@danjorge.com or just go to danjorge.com and you can contact me on there. And then you won't see me, but I'll be on the internet.
Yes, you are always watching.
Yeah, I am always watching.
You
It's
are always
I don't
watching.
make a lot of appearances, Jenny. This is a big deal.
And I am grateful. It only took me 6 months to get you on here. Well worth the wait. Thank you for that. And yeah, it was awesome having you on the podcast. And you are you are one of the episodes right before we're taking a bit of a break. We're taking a little bit of end of season break before we come back fresh and renewed and with a little bit of a different direction for Acquire. So I'm excited. I
Ooh.
know. And maybe we're going to put the Dan Jorge process to Acquire and see what comes at the other end.
Oh,
Maybe. We'll
maybe.
see how that works. So thank you, Dan. It's been amazing to have a conversation with you about all this. Appreciate all of the insights and the time.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Of course. And if you've been listening this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody who listens to Acquire. I get really great comments and feedback, and people from all over the world, just sharing a little bit about how they've heard an episode, or they've, had somebody mention it to them that they should listen to it. So thank you so much if you're doing that. Stay tuned because there's a lot more to come. And if you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss anything that's coming in the future. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon. Take care.